Hello, my name is Mrs. Bischoff. As you can see, for your bundle for this weekend, I prepared an ISTEP review packet for an ISTEP review bundle. As 8th graders in my class, you are either in geometry or algebra, both of which are high school courses. So we really do not have time to stop teaching the high school material to review for ISTEP. So I thought that this would be a perfect way to go through some of those questions that when you were A, taking your practice test, you weren't sure how to do, or B, kind of reinforce some of those concepts that you were taught probably in 6th or 7th grade, but you forgot, okay? So your bundle is going to consist of this introductory / instruction video, as well as some interactive practice, and then an assignment. All right, the first thing that I want to draw your attention to is the ISTEP Mathematics Reference Sheet for 8th grade. This is actually embedded into your bundle, and you'll see that this looks very different than the one that you had last year. I actually gave you a copy of this at the beginning of this year. All of you have used this before, but what I want to caution you on is as you are working through your bundle, as you're working through your problems, please make sure that you don't go anywhere else to look for formulas. So maybe when you're trying to calculate the area of a rectangular prism, you'll see that you don't have, so maybe when you're trying to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism, you'll see that you don't have a formula for the surface area of a rectangular prism. That's because you're expected to already know that. Or if you're trying to figure out the area of a triangle, that formula is not up here either because you're expected to know that. So what I encourage you to do is try to accomplish this assignment without using the internet or your textbook or any other means to resource formulas. There are things that you should know as an 8th grader. All right, so here's your reference sheet. And as we work through some of the problems, I'm going to reference back and show you where I found them. Okay, so percent of change. We actually had a question, and I think our ISTEP packet, review packet, about percent of change, and a lot of you couldn't remember how to do that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is tell you how I taught you that, and the little formula that we used for that. Percent of change is the amount of change over the original price. So the amount of change over the original. Now, the only way that you can find the amount of change is actually to subtract. So we're going to find the difference. So if I wanted to, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to read this question to you, and then we're going to calculate the amount of change or the percent of change. The price of technology stock has risen to $9.77 today. This is the new price. This is the today. Yesterday's price was $9.64. This is the original. Was tells me that it was the original. So I need to find the percent of increase, and I'm going to round my answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. So the first thing I do using my formula is find the amount of change. Well, I'm going to have to find the difference. So 977 minus 964 over the original price, 964. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. 977 minus 964 divided by 964. And I find out that the percent of increase, or the increase, is 0.01348. I'm asked to turn it into a percent, and I need to turn my answer into the nearest tenth of a percent. So this is just a decimal answer. I have to turn that decimal into percent, and I do that by moving the decimal place 2 places to the right. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1.348%. I need my answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. This is the tenths place. I'm going to circle the number that comes after the tenths place. That number tells me to round up or keep it the same. If that number is 5 or larger, I round up. If it's less than 5, I keep it the same. 4 is less than 5, so this is about 1.3%. Okay? Finding percents. Now, when you learn about percents, we actually use 2 methods to find percents. The first one is a proportion method. Yes, sir.
Technically, you did that wrong. Because you don't look at just the number before you look at the last. You look at every number before and you round up, and then you round up, and then you round up until you get to the number you're getting to.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
That's what you do for significant figures.
Okay, significant figure is totally different than rounding to the nearest 10.
Still rounding.
All right, so when we learned how to find percents, you learned a proportion method, and it was percent over 100 equals is over of. You also learned percent over 100 equals part over the whole. Most often we use this when we're just given a problem similar to this one down here. What is 12% of 17.5? Most often we use the percent over 100 equals part over whole when we're given a word problem, okay? So let's look at our word problem. It says, Danny just hired a new employee to work in your bake shop. In 1 hour, the employee burned 625 chocolate chip cookies. If this, meaning the 625 cookies, represents 25% of the day's production, how many cookies did you plan on producing? Well, we're going to use the percent over 100 equals part over the whole method. Okay? So we always write our percents over 100. So I'm going to rewrite this as 25 over 100. That's the percent that we're talking about. He burnt 625 of the production, or 625 cookies, and that is part of the total. So I'm going to say 625 over, I don't know, we're just going to use the variable x. And actually, I'm going to stop right here and define that. I'm going to say let x equal the total production of cookies. Because it's really important to define your variables. All right, and then with any proportion, you know that you can hopefully remember that you can use the cross product. So 25x equals 62,500. I need to divide both sides by 25. And when I do that, I find 62,500 divided by 25 is 2,500 cookies. So how many cookies did you plan on producing that day? You planned on producing 2,500 cookies. Now, the other method, the percent over 100 equals is over of. This method works best when you have just a missing number, whether you're missing a percent, or the is, or the of. So the way that I taught you guys this is you look for the word what, and I have what is. So this is going to be my variable. I know that I'm going to put a variable, what, in the is portion. So I'm just going to erase that and put a variable. 12%. Now percents always go over 100, so I'm going to erase the missing percent, and I'm just going to write the number 12 in there. 12 over 100, that's my 12%, and then of is 17.5. And again, I'm going to solve this using the cross product method. 100 times x is 100x. 12 times 17.5 is 200. 210. Divide both sides by 100. Remember, dividing by 100 is the same thing as moving the decimal 2 places to the left. So 12% of 17.5 is 2.1.